I'm the executive director of Touch the Future. Okay. And we partnered with Zoe Hale with the Anderson Housing and Homeless Alliance for an AARP community grant. And what this was about was creating a design contest for housing plans that could be homes that people could own, or potentially a bigger block of affordable rent to meet the huge unmet needs for affordable and accessible housing in the greater Anderson area.
How acute is the need for senior housing?
Oh my goodness. Senior housing, as well as housing for people with disabilities and families who have a family member with a disability, is huge. Anderson County is higher than the state and national average on all counts: seniors, people with disabilities, and disabled veterans. But the housing market and rent just keeps getting so unattainable for those, entry-level workers, your minimum wage workers, people in the food industry, retail industry, and that it's, to be able to have your own home is almost unattainable. But for seniors, even seniors who are middle-class seniors, now that they have age-related disabilities and have the need for care, the cost for assisted living is $5,000 and up a month. That's not attainable by very many people. So having housing that people can age in place, be able to live in their home, it be accessible no matter what their mobility needs are, hearing or vision needs are, memory, and being in communities that can support each other. And having part of this design, we also included looking at 5 to 7 units with a community building, and that community building serves in a multi-purpose role where you could bring in mobile health clinics, farmers markets, have a space for people, because these are small, modest homes. They still have a place for family gatherings and community gatherings and be a part of that support system. And then one of the designs, which we're really excited about, also makes use of all these unused box stores and makes community living that's accessible to anyone. It's, not just limited to people with disabilities and seniors, but just anybody, and it just allows for that opportunity to live in the community and not be forced into institutions and things like that.
What's the next step?
The next step is to get some of these things built. We're looking at different grant opportunities. We've got partnerships with the county, with some different land and pieces of land that have, like neighborhoods that have started but not been completed, working with the builders associations and local builders to add this concept into their design, so that maybe you're building this new neighborhood, but then you can put some of these smaller homes in for your mom when she's aging, or your disabled child that's now an adult. But they can still be in your neighborhood, but not in your home. And it gives them the autonomy and privacy that they want. We're hoping less than 5 years. We're working currently on trying to secure additional funding. We've got some promised land options and stuff. So it's really to be able to operationalize this. The designs we actually took land that existed in the county and a building that existed to use as kind of the foundation. What could you build? What could you design that could fit here? We looked at with the designs, is this something that you can take and build today? Does it fit in the culture of what the Anderson community wants in homes? Is it stuff that's already, some of them are designs that are already being built that were submitted, so we know they work. So it's really exciting because it's a unique opportunity to really operationalize, to meet this vast market of people who otherwise couldn't afford to purchase a home or to even afford rent in a home that's accessible. And even if you go to like the available apartments and that, there's maybe one or two accessible units, you know, but over a fourth of our population, almost a third, are people with disabilities and seniors. So how do we meet that need in our own community? And it's designs like this and funding like we received from AARP that's helping to make this area. But we're coming up on our 30th anniversary as an organization, and we serve people with disabilities and seniors through technology and assistive technology and creating systems change to make the world more accessible for everyone to live in.
And I spend a lot of quality time with Hope Missions downtown. It's a day shelter that's open 6 days a week, and when it's cold like it is now, we're also open overnight. The population that we serve there are people who are literally homeless, or people who are not even one paycheck away from being homeless, but the people who are really housing insecure. They live in, a technical term is crappy old housing, which means the utility bills are really high. Don't worry, Greg will edit that part out. I'm confident of that. But what we found over the last 5 years is that the most effective way to intervene with someone who is homeless is to find housing. And so we've been on a journey to find affordable housing and appropriate housing. Many of the people that we serve have a hard time finding housing at an appropriate price point. And many of them are also people with disabilities, because Anderson County has a higher rate of disability for every age group of adult, for every one of the 6 types of disability, than the state and then the nation. So we happen to have an unusually high population of people with disabilities. This particular grant, which is it's part of the livability series, it's called a community challenge grant. It's a short-term grant for you to look at a specific topic, and what we chose together was to look at housing. So we hosted a housing design contest for people to come up with modest, energy efficient, and accessible homes. We had 3 scenarios. People could look at a modest cottage that was either an efficiency, a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, and then we also had a commercial design that's called adaptive for use, to take a space that's not currently being utilized and convert it into living space that met all of our criteria. So in our first phase, we asked people to submit designs. Then after we got the designs in, we had our jury, which included Sully. I'm not making fun of you because you're eating. He's part of one of our judges. So the judges kind of down selected the designs that we had submitted, and these 5 are the best of the breed. And then we opened it up in the past week or so for what we call People's Choice Awards. And so people came, looked at all of ours online, and then they submitted what they said were their top 3. And so at this point in time, we can announce the overall winner of the 5 designs. But before we do that, I want to make sure everybody knows, I want you to look at each one of these designs, and then there's a survey at each of the tables. Each table has the same survey, so it doesn't matter which is your favorite design, but just fill out a survey before you go. And this talks about what goes inside the house. So the designs are the outside, the survey is about what's on the inside. And if you want to connect with us at the Anderson Housing and Homeless Alliance, there's a QRC that you can scan, or you can take that bit of information. So at this point,
the overall winner is our reuse design that came in from.
So we have one of the architects here. James, will come up?
And so what this design did is take an existing warehouse or box store type design, which we gave an actual building that was available in Anderson County for a design to be done using it as a footprint. And they designed a mixed use type condo scenario that turns the inside into a livable community with individual homes as well as shared community space. All of our designs, part of the criteria was to have a community building type center as part of it, and this one was inside the space, so it is all there. And so wanted to congratulate you guys. You want to tell them who you are and who was part of the design team?
Yeah.
So my name is Jaymz Neumann. I'm a grad student here at Clemson University, going to my last year for the architecture program. And then I worked on the project. I was invited so at the school I work in the wood shop. I'm a student supervisor there. And my boss, Joel Brown, He's also a Clemson graduate. He found out about the competition, and so he emailed me and reached out about working on it with him. It was a lot of fun, and I was really glad that he reached out to me. So we both have worked for the same architect here in Anderson, so we kind of have the same work style. We understand each other a bit, and so he brought me in on it. And kind of how you guys described it, the main thing we wanted was a communal feeling or a communal aspect to it. So that way, as people are put into a place like this, they still kind of have a sense of purpose with what they're doing, or feeling like they're still part of a community and not so isolated. So that was like really important for us.
No, I think you did a great job, and I'm sure everything that informed you and come up with such a great design came from your great training, which initially was in the
Army?
Army.
Yeah.
I spent 27 years in the military, so it's no surprise another military person came up with a winning design.
Optimistic if they can get some funding though.
That's we assumed. I was talking to my dad because I'm originally from Indiana, and he said they have seemed to get his like thoughts because I sent my family the link, and I was like, I'm not gonna tell you which one is mine. You vote and then tell me. Spaces, business district. I think they're gonna. There's like a big part of the mall that has an atrium. They're gonna open it up so it is outside again. So you have outside again.
Spell your name for me. So give me your name.
Jaymz, Jaymz.
And last name?
Neumann,
Spell it for me.
Neumann.
And tell me how you got involved in this project.
So I work in the wood shop at the Clemson School of Architecture program. I'm a grad student there, and my boss Joel, he actually found out about the project. He's kind of from the area, and he and I both have worked at the same architecture firm here in Anderson. So he said he thought it'd be, a fun thing to do, and since we both have worked for the same architect, we kind of have the same work styles, and so just invited me to work on it with him.
And what were your goals when you were working on this?
I think the first one was trying to make it realistic, especially with the site that we chose for reusing the building. That was really important. And then I know, I guess for me personally, I can't really speak for Joel, but we wanted to have like a communal feel, and thinking of places I've seen, especially I'm from a small town. They don't have, nice senior housing like this. The stuff there is kind of boring or sad. And so trying to design something that if you were to put your parent or grandparent there, that they would be happy and comfortable and feel like an actual community by being there.
And this was a People's Choice Award. Your design was. Tell people who haven't seen it a little bit about what it is exactly.
So we chose of the 3 sites, we chose the third one that had the existing building on it, with the idea of repurposing the building and expanding on it a little bit, because it's going to need to be a little bit bigger to have the full residence and then the communal space. And with that, we kind of came up with an interior space that allows for a large internal hallway to give this feel of where you could put in a front porch as if they still lived in their existing communities like they're used to. And then it transitions outside to where the communal space and covered pavilion is linked to it, and then connecting up the existing site has a nice slope to it to where you could slope right up to a nice outdoor garden space. So they have some outdoor elements as well.